Some people think politicians determine the quality of life. Yes or no? One answer, everybody agrees, no. Now, the truth is the answer to all of these questions in reality is no. The weather doesn't do it, your relationship doesn't do it, the money doesn't do it. That's the real answer. The honest answer for most of us emotionally is we'd probably say yes to some of those, right? Because we have fallen into the trance of believing that these external environments determine how we feel. Are there people who have people that totally love them, great relationships, but don't feel really happy, yes or no? Yes or no? Are there people with tons of money who are totally unhappy, yes or no? Are there people with tons of money who are happy? Sure. So the money doesn't do either one. Money will magnify whatever you're already doing. If you're a pain, you'll have more to be a pain with. If you're loving, you'll have more to be loving with. It'll just magnify. If you're fearful, you'll be even more fearful when you got more money. Right? If you're centered, you'll be even more centered. All it does is magnify. Money doesn't do it. Relationship doesn't do it. Only one thing determines how you feel: the way you communicate to yourself in that moment. You can have a lot of money, but if you're communicating in a way that makes you feel like there's scarcity, you're going to feel broke. You can have a great relationship but not feel very happy or very loving if you communicate in a way that makes yourself feel unhappy. So it's not the things in our lives, it's our communication. That is the whole ball of wax. Are there people who have been through unbelievable physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, sexual traumas even, or abuse, whose lives have turned out phenomenally well, yes or no? And then you find somebody who's been given all the love, all the education, all the background, all the family support, all the money, all the things they thought they want, and they're a drug addict. Explain the difference. The difference is that it's never the things of your life. It's always the way you communicate. It's the meaning you make up for it. And some people take all their abundance and say, I'm abused. Some people take all the abuse and say, boy, there's a gift in here somewhere, I'm going to find it. It's all communication. Your life has nothing to do, the quality of your life has nothing to do with your real life. It has everything to do with what you communicate here. So whether you're really happy today or sad today, whether you feel like your life is a success or a failure, is not whether it's really success or a failure, it's just what you communicate. And what you communicate with certainty, you believe. And since you believe it, you feel it. And whatever you feel, that's your life. Nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning I give it. Nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning I give it. What does that mean? It means, well, one person has an experience and they say, what does this mean? And they communicate to themselves, this means God hates me and my life is over. Because he's obviously punishing me. Someone else has the exact same experience and they go, what does this mean? And their brain says, what this means is God is challenging me to reach down deep and find out who I really am so I can do something even greater. What's the difference? The difference is one person is suicidal and the other person is driven and excited. What's the difference? Communication to oneself. There is not a single skill in your lifetime that will be more important for you to master.
Listen to this. A man is born gentle and weak. At his death, he is hard and stiff. All things, including the grass and trees, are soft and pliable in life, dry and brittle in death. Stiffness is thus a companion of death. Flexibility is a companion of life. That's a part of the 76th verse of the Tao Te Ching. Now, he wasn't just saying become stiff or become flexible in your body. He was saying become flexible in your thinking. Now, he wasn't just saying become stiff or become flexible in your body. He was saying become flexible in your thinking.
What do I mean by finding symbolic meaning in your life? How do you do that? Well, you got to be creative. Whenever you discern that you have a problem in your life going on, you must creatively find symbolic meaning in it. And the example that I usually give is this. Let's take a pilot. Let's say that this pilot is overly arrogant. They think that they are God's gift to humanity. You can't tell them anything. They are super cocky. All right? Now, on one occasion, let's say one day, they're flying their aircraft and they lose control of the aircraft. Now, this pilot crashes into the ground. He survives, but he breaks his leg. Now, when I give this particular presentation to audiences and crowds, I have them try to find symbolic meaning. What does that particular situation mean in that pilot's life? And they come up with great, great messages, great symbolic meaning. But the meaning that I put to it is this. That particular pilot thought that they were literally the flyest thing on earth. They were overly arrogant. And the message that I put with that is that that was God's way of bringing that pilot literally back to earth. Back to earth.
Olympic boxing has a history of controversial decisions. One of the most infamous happened at the 1988 Seoul Olympics, where Roy Jones Jr. of the USA was robbed of the gold that was surely his.
You can only talk about, in terms of the worst decisions made in the Olympics, Roy Jones is right up there.
Because the big thing for my Olympics was the kid that got cheated, me. So, though I thought it was a bad thing at the time, which we all gonna go through that the first 24 hours especially, it wasn't. I did all I could do. God planned it out way better than I ever could have thought it. Ain't no way I could have got on God's level with that plan. God has a plan that's way more sophisticated than man will ever understand. And that's what I had to explain to Anderson.
Out of our pain came our creative genius. I said, if it were not for the pain of slavery, we wouldn't have spirituals, nor would we have blues or gospel. All of it came from our pain. That great gospel song that Martin Luther King wanted to hear the night before he was killed, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," was written by a Chicago brother who had just lost his wife. And in losing his wife, he went into the room, and his pain brought out that magnificent song. I said, let your pain, Michael, serve your creative genius. That's all I said.